Yes, can you hear me? Yes, Asia beta, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We are going to start. I would like to show you this one. Uh, this is basically this is the drama. When 5 years pass, it is called Impossible Comedy. 3 acts and 5 scenes. This is a story of young man encountering the pain of love, and he broods and thinks about his future. Past and future coexist in present. Homosexual awakening, reckoning, and torture. Uh, Basically, when you look at the first slide, the first act, you can understand this play. A young man's marriage to his fiancée, who he is only met once, has been delayed for 5 years. So marriage is delayed for 5 years. In the interim, three specters haunt his life. Basically, specters are ghosts. Now there is a supernatural element in this play. These are the ghosts. An old man who see all the time, a drunk man who only see the present, and a friend who wants to stop time. Now these are the three specters. The young man's typist interrupts these spirits to confess her love for him, and is subsequently turned out of the house. The young man's servant John warns the young man of a gathering storm, and two other disquieting figures break into his home from another dimension, a dead boy and a dead cat. Basically, these are also, you can say that fantastic element, and these are not these objects are not based on reality. The spirits, the ghost, the dead boy and dead cat. So it means that these things, again, I would like to say that there is a surrealist element. There is a combination, amalgam between something that is fantastic, something that is unreal, and a real one. So this is the first act. You can see this, and then there is a second act. After a steamy love scene between the footballer and the fancy, basically, a young man's fancy is in love with footballer. The young man finally arrives 5 years later to meet his bride. Basically, uh, the marriage is postponed for 5 years. So after 5 years, he wants to see his bride. Their reunion is cold and bitter. Now you can see that he comes to know that his fiancée doesn't love him, and he is disappointed and he is feeling pain. So his reunion is not good one, is a cold one, is a bitter one. And she eventually escaped with she elopes with the footballer, leaving the young man alone. Now, young man, you can see that is all alone. Mannequin wearing the bride's unworn wedding gown. Now, mannequin, you can see the dummy uh, uh, at the side of the shops. तो डमी मौजूद होती हैं कि वो डमी को जो है वो पहनाया जाता है, जो है वो ड्रेसेस पहनाए जाते हैं, बेसिकली वो उसको कहते हैं मैनिक्विन. वेयरिंग द ब्राइड्स अनवॉर्न वेडिंग गाउन कम्स टू लाइफ. अच्छा, वो डमी जो है जिंदगी उसको मिल जाती है और वो अलाइव हो जाती है, एंड डिमांड्स सीक द लव ऑफ टाइपिस्ट हु ही टर्न्ड अवे ईयर्स अगो. ठीक है, तो वो जो है बेसिकली जो है दिस इज अगेन फैंटेसी, फैंटेस्टिक एलिमेंट. वो जिंदगी उसमें आ जाती है, वो स्टेचू से जो है वो लाइफ के अंदर आ जाती है, और फिर वो जो है डिमांड करती है जो है अपना लव जो है जो काफी अरसा पहले जो है उसने उसका इजहार किया था. नाउ दिस इज अनदर surrealist element in example of surrealist element in the play. तो ये जो सेकंड सीन के अंदर हो रहा है. And then the third scene, third act, the Harlequin welcomes up deep into a dream. Basically, Harlequin is a comic character or clown type of person. Welcomes us deep into dream, represented as a surrealist forest near a circus full of souls, searching for their lost loves. And here you can see that the souls are overcrowded. This is another surrealist element. The souls are overcrowded, and basically these souls are searching for their lost love, such as a destitute countess in a mask. So a destitute means that a person who is sufferer, a person who is in critical condition. Countess is there in a mask, is dressed. So she is also uh, searching for the lost love, and she is also destitute in sufferings. The young man desperately searches for the typist who once showed him affection. But upon finding her and confessing his love, she reveals she cannot be with him until 5 more years pass. Finally, the young man, you see that young man has is all also his soul is also there, and then he can see his beloved typist, but she shows that she will not show her love. She will not claim. He will not claim her love. Even you can say that 5 more years will pass, and she will see that. But the young man knows he's out of time, and she then turns to stone. Now again, she turns to stone again, and then the man realizes that he's out of time. तो जहां जहां पे जो है कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाती है तो वहां पे जो है राइटर फैंटेसी लेकर आता है. राइटर जो है फैंटेसी को इंट्रोड्यूस करवाता है इन रियल सिचुएशन में. The young man returns home where three card players play him in a fatal hand of poker, which he loses when he forced to expose his ace of heart. Basically, ace जो है जो यक्का होता है, जो कि मेन कार्ड होता है, वो जिस किसी के पास होता है तो वो उस गेम ऑफ कार्ड में जो है दूसरों से सबकत ले जाता है. He is left alone to die, crying out for uh, any man. So you can say that finally he is left alone, and he alone to die, and then he becomes destitute. So these are the three acts of display when 5 years pass. So we can observe that 5 years past, there is a surrealism and Andalusian tradition, element of Andalusian tradition. As we know that what is meaning of surrealism, and then finally we come to know that when 5 years past tells a tale about a young man trying to grasp what is ahead of him while lost in what is behind him. So he looks forward, but he always loses what is behind him. Yes. Yes, please, all of you can see these slides.
Yes, sir.
Yes, from these three slides, now you can see that uh, From the very beginning, I want to show. This is the first slide. This is the first slide. You want to ask me something from this first slide? Is it clear? Because we are reading European literature, so we have read uh, the drama of Ibsen, that is from Norway. Now we can see that this dramatist is from Spain. Yes, you can see clearly the first slide. Any question from the first slide? Yes, please. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And this is the second. This is the second slide. Now, basically, he's a great poet, and his collection Gypsy Ballads and Lament for a Bullfighter is a collection of the poetry. Is famous because of that, and especially here when we talking about his plays, his tragedies are over there, and the house of Bernarda Alva, he is the famous uh, play of Lorca. Yes, you look at it, and if you don't understand anything, you can ask me. Yes, anyone, please do ask me because we should discuss it. Themes of his writing. Yes, anything you want to ask me? Yes, Asia, you don't want to ask me something?
Sir, I want to ask, sir, what is the actually purpose of this play?
The purpose of this play.
Yes, sir. The main idea of this play, what the writer wants to
Yes,
say
yes.
through this play.
Actually, the main idea behind this play is how modern human beings think about impossible ideas and how they brood over and think over about their unconsciousness. Basically, there are many things we can do in our life, and then there are many other things we can't do, and we are helpless because there are many things that are not in our hand. So, as we know that in this play, basically, the writer tries to get help from fantasy or fantastic element. As we know that when we believe in fate and fortune, so it means that to some extent we may believe in angels, they are there to help us. We may believe in witches, we can believe in other supernatural elements. Someone is behind our success, or someone is behind our fortune. So yes, there is a faith that Allah is working behind us, and he is shaper of our fortune. But when we believe in the in witches or spirit, you can in ghost, we can say that we are super natural in our attitude. And then there is a role of supernatural element in our life, because in this play, when you observe these three scenes, these three acts, wherever the character fails to achieve his objectives, so he tries fantasy, he tries to bring fantasy in his life. As we know that the dummy has become a human being. So it means that how dummy can become a human being and claims his or her love. So it is not possible. So wherever human beings fail, this is a drama, and he's trying to show that human beings may fail in their objectives, and in their failure, in their loss, it may be that fantasy or some supernatural element can come and help them and guide them out of that pain, that sufferings. Because as we know that here in this play, a young man suffers a lot. So his marriage is delayed for 5 years, but after 5 years he comes back, and he could see that his beloved, his fancy is with another person, and she runs away. So he suffers a lot. But at the same time, he is a loser. But at the same time, he is thinking about his future. So you can say that you can't avoid past, you can't avoid future, even then you are living in present moment, you are in present moment. You can't forget your past, you can't be away from your future. And when you are in a present moment, you think about the past, you think about your future. So as far as I have understood this play, yes, if there is a supernatural element, if there is a fantasy, if there are certain unconscious signals in our life, we can be very much successful. Otherwise, there is a loss, and then there is a complete failure. So this is you can say that it is not all about rationality. It is not all about reason, but it is all about player. So this piece of an art, this drama provides you player, and you can get aesthetic joy out of it. So it is not possible that there is a blend of fantasy and the rationality. But to some extent, when we believe in dreams, when we believe in imagination, when we believe in vision, when we believe in fate and fortune, and we believe that some supernatural elements are very much there to shape our destiny. So we should believe in unexpected turning of events and circumstances in our favor or in our against. So, or against us or in our favor. So we need to believe all these things. So the writer is trying to show this, that human life cannot be totally rational. So the main object of this play is that there may be blending of fantasy and reality. When fantasy and reality combines, there is amalgam of fantasy and reality. We can achieve absolute truth. आसिया, हम लोग जो है एब्सोल्यूट ट्रुथ को कभी भी अचीव नहीं कर सकते. हम रीजन के थ्रू अचीव नहीं कर सकते, हम इमेजिनेशन के थ्रू, ड्रीम के थ्रू उसको अचीव नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन राइटर ये कहने की कोशिश कर रहा है कि हम लोग अगर फैंटेसी को, हम मैजिकल चीज़ों को, हम लोग सुपर नेचुरल एलिमेंट को रियलिटी के साथ कंबाइन करके अगर हम लोग कामयाबी हासिल करते हैं, तो हम लोग एब्सोल्यूट ट्रुथ को अचीव कर लेंगे. बट यू कैन से दैट absolute truth can't be achieved. If we are able to achieve absolute truth, so we will achieve absolute happiness. So it is not possible. ये तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है कि एब्सोल्यूट हैप्पीनेस को अचीव कर लें या परफेक्शन को अचीव कर लें. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. But you can say that as Sigmund Freud, he is of the opinion that we should not ignore unconsciousness. There are certain signals from unconsciousness and we should not ignore them, because unconsciousness is opening the window to wisdom, to intelligence. Oh, we should not close that window. We should always look forward towards our unconsciousness and bring that back in our reality. There must be combination of it, and so that we might achieve the absolute truth. तो इसका मकसद ये है कि जहां जहां पे हमारी जो है वो फेलियर हो जाए, तो वहां पे जो है हमें इमेजिनेशन से हेल्प लेनी चाहिए, फैंटेसी से हेल्प लेनी चाहिए, और स्पिरिट का कॉन्सेप्ट है, सुपर नेचुरल एलिमेंट्स का कॉन्सेप्ट है, गोस का कॉन्सेप्ट है, और हो सकता है कि ये पॉसिबल हो कि स्टोन जो है ह्यूमन बीइंग बन जाए और ह्यूमन बीइंग स्टोन बन जाए, तो इट इज पॉसिबल। तो ये इसमें जो है ये बताने की जो है वो कोशिश की गई है। जब हम लोग उसको रीडिंग देंगे तो पता चलेगा कि क्या क्या हो रहा है, कौन कौन से एलिमेंट्स जो है, जो एलिमेंट्स हमने डिस्कस किए, आया वो किस फॉर्म में, किस करेक्टर में जो है वो ये एलिमेंट्स जो है वो मौजूद हैं। इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Please ask me if you want to comment on the play, if you want to ask anything, feel free to ask me, because Asia has asked me a good question, and you can also share your comments. You can ask me, because with the help of discussion, with the help of debate, we move forward. So I don't want to impose my ideas on you, because this is one side of a story, this is one side of understanding. You need to understand yourself and just tell me whatever what you have understood. So your part of story is also important. So therefore your discussion, your debate is also important, and I don't want to ignore your creative thoughts. Yes. Anyone? Now this, yes. We start from 5 years from here. Yes, anyone? Yes. I can see many students. I am happy to see many students. Zargul, Sana, Sajda. Yes, Sajda, do you have any question?
No, sir.
I think you are angry with me, therefore you haven't got any question.
No, sir. My net connection is very bad, so uh,
No,
they-
I can hear you. Yes, Parveen. बेटा कैसी हैं आप परवीन? ठीक हैं आप? Yes. Yes, you can see if you have got any question regarding surrealism or just अच्छा, ये किसका टॉपिक था surrealism जो है उसमें लेक्चर्स के अंदर, असाइनमेंट के अंदर जो है, प्रेजेंटेशन के अंदर किसका टॉपिक था surrealism?
I think sir हाजरा का था.
किसका था?
Not हाजरा. I think
हाजरा,
हाजरा थी.
हाजरा, अच्छा अच्छा,
Yes, sir.
yes, हाजरा is missing, you see that.
Maybe I'm wrong, but थोड़ा सा
Yes,
याद
I
है
can
हाजरा
remember
को.
surrealism. Yes. Yes, you can see this slide also, and if you have got any question, yes, you are most welcome, and you can see this slide as well.
Sir,
Okay,
please.
just tell me, any one of you, just tell me whether there is a element of whether there is a supernatural element, the role of such a supernatural element in our life or not, or we need to imagine, we need to believe about the role of supernatural elements in our life. Suppose, can we say that the role of that?
Yes, sir. There is a role of supernatural elements in our life.
Yes, sir. Everyone believe in supernatural powers
Hmm.
and role of these powers.
But this is the situation in drama. As we know that the writer depicts the situation, portrays the situation, and he brings supernatural element in it. Whether someone believes in supernatural elements in society in life, I don't know whether people are superstitious or not. Yes, people are superstitious. They believe in supernatural elements, but I don't think so. Okay, nowadays there is a role of science and then there is role of reason. The people are less superstitious. I do believe in that. But when you believe in destiny, when you believe in numbers, lucky numbers, you are very much superstitious. आपने देखा होगा कि हम लोग भी चाहते हैं कि जिंदगी में कोई ऐसा अनएक्सपेक्टेड हो जाए, जो हमारा कोई प्रॉब्लम है या जो हमारा नजरिया कोई चल रहा होता है, या हमारी जो है नाकामी है उसके अंदर जो है वो कामयाबी के अंदर जो है वो चेंज होता है और हो जाए। और कभी कभार ऐसा होता है, इस तरह होता है या नहीं होता?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
जी जी। लेकिन उसके लिए जो है सालों इंतजार भी करना पड़ता है, वो नहीं हो रहा होता तो हम लोग बहुत तंग आ चुके होते हुए कि उस वक्त जो है वो क्यों नहीं हो रहा होता। जी। यस। यस, व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द फर्स्ट एक्ट, द फर्स्ट स्लाइड, what the writer is trying to depict? Yes. Yes, the first slide. Yes, any question from the first slide? अच्छा, कितने लोगों ने जो है काफका काफका के लेटर्स मैंने आपके साथ शेयर किए थे?
Yes, sir.
पीडीएफ फाइल जो है, कितने लोगों ने
Yes,
पढ़ा है उसको? काफका को पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने? आप में से कितनों ने पढ़ा है उसको? जी, पढ़ा है या टाइम नहीं था आप लोगों के पास?
नो सर, ईद वगैरह थी और रमजान का एंड था तो नहीं पढ़ सके।
आसिया, आपने पढ़ा है बेटा?
No, sir. Letters नहीं पढ़े.
फायजा बेटा, आपने पढ़ा है? हिरा, आपने?
नो सर।
अच्छा हिरा, आपने भी नहीं पढ़ा है? मुश्ताक? मुश्ताक अली? मुश्ताक बात नहीं कर रहा, पता नहीं क्यों, नाराज है मुझसे, पता नहीं क्या। मुश्ताक? ओके, we can see that when we evaluate this play, we can say that there is a role of supernatural element. Why there is a role of supernatural element? In the first place, when the protagonist doesn't perform anything, so supernatural elements basically hinders him to carry out that thing. So here in this play particularly, the supernatural element does not do good uh, uh, to a person, the protagonist. On the other hand, these supernatural elements in the form of ghosts are very much there to hinder him to to perform, to carry out his work. So something that is impossible is happening in this play, and basically that impossible thing is when it is happening. So it is kind of giving us aesthetic player. So we take player out of that situation when we come to know that dummy becomes a human being, and tries to relax the situation. It may be possible that something impossible is happening. Try to relax the tension, which is very much there in the mind of audience. So when we evaluate this play, when we read the plays, we come to know that there are certain entertaining events, and we take player out of those entertaining moments or activities. So when we relate this drama with the society, when we relate with this drama with our life, so it is not possible that fantasies are there. It's not possible that supernatural elements are there to change the situation. But to some extent, when we are in pain, when we are in sufferings, we conclude that our stars are not in our favor, or so something happening against us. So we are not there to cope up the situation, and we relate our situation to something that is beyond our reach, something that is supernatural, something we cannot control. It means that there is an element of supernatural element is very much there, whether we believe it in or not. You can say that this whole drama is there is aesthetic element in that drama, and this is impossible comedy because when fantasies are combined with reality. And the characters, basically, the protagonist suffers because he does not achieve anything. After waiting for 5 years, he comes to know that his fancy is not going to approve his love, and she is going somewhere with another person, and he is left alone. So uh, he is left all alone, and he is about to die, and just he is crying. So his sufferings and predicament is his sufferings and predicament are shared with us, and this is all about this situation. And finally, in third act, we come to know that the young man basically is left alone, and as you know that there is luck, and life is compared with the game of cards as well. So there is element of love, there is a element of luck, there is element of destiny and fortune. So we cannot.
Sir, which kinds of failure of protagonist? Which kind of failure?
He does not get his love because he waits for 5 years, and after 5 years had elapsed, he comes to see his bride, but as he can see that his fancy is engaged, his fancy is busy with another person, and she goes with that person, and there is a complete failure, and he does not get his love. So you can say that the factor of time is also important. Uh, he would have got his love if he had married or decided to marry 5 years back. But the marriage is delayed for 5 years, and 5 years cost him a lot. So protagonist is failed to get his love because he has been waiting for 5 years, and after 5 years he does not get his love, and his beloved runs away with another person. So it's a complete loss. Yes, the writer is trying to show that time factor also counts a lot in relations, in, in love and other emotional relations. Yes, any other question, please? You want to ask any question? Yes.
Sir, impossible comedy. Just to explain करें.
Sir, we can say it is a tragic comedy